it's me again, and today I want to try to show you how to groom, or how I groom Mimi, which this is Mimi, and I'm going to use my vacuum system, which is what you hear in the background right now, and my Bravura with snap-on combs for most of it. She's a camera hawk apparently. Just to give you an idea of how to make that work. It's a very simple concept and a very simple pattern, and you'll see how fast I can get her done using it. I take off her rear loop because she really doesn't need it, and then I can move her that direction. And we're going to start off with the peach comb. Now I've already done all of her prep, all of her sanitary and all of that. And I've combed through her with my fine-tooth comb, but that does not mean we won't find something as we get there. At any rate, she does get a crest, so we're going to start here and just cut our shape in. As I get to the legs, I'm going to blend off and down and in so that we don't have to do as much scissoring in that area. Go straight down the back. And then when we get to the hip, we're again going to use a floating motion. Now notice I'm not going underneath her. I'm literally coming straight down at the table. There's a reason for that. I want to create a shape there. And then I'm going to come underneath, similar to a Schnauzer line. Because again, remember, the Schnauzer is the basis for all dog grooming. So we're going to do that. It's not going to stay like that, but we're going to do that. Same thing here. Set our shoulders in. And she's a little cocky. She cocks out at the hips and at the knees, so we're going to watch that when we groom her. I'm going to turn you around. She's getting on up there in age. But anyway, we're going to come down this way. And she is not a Bichon, by the way. She is a Bijipoo. Her dad is a champion poodle. Her mother is a Bichon, and I know that for a fact. And to me, she's a really, really, really nice specimen to work on. Come this way. It's a very nice little dog. And she's more Bichon-y than most of the Bichons that we groom. So, again, remember, I'm not going underneath the dog. I'm simply coming down. And one thing I did notice when I was combing through her is that her last groom held up amazingly well. And I was really proud of that. I always love it when that happens because that means that you did a nice job on the dog the last time they were in. It grows out beautifully and evenly, then you've done a nice job on the dog. And that's always my goal. I can always judge a groom by what it looks like when it comes back in as to whether or not we did a good job on it last time. Now, I've got my lines essentially set here. Stack her. For those of you who don't know what that means, you want to put them in the show type position. The reason I do that is it allows me to set my ankles better. Now, she's not going to stack beautifully, and I don't need her to stack like a show dog, but if you stand them up in the correct position, then you can see the rear angulation, which if you'll notice, I'm setting with my little flick of the wrist like we do on almost everything. And now I'm going to switch combs. And on her, I'm going to go to an A comb first, the light purple one. Come on, baby. Stand up. And I'm going to come down on the legs because I don't want to take off any more hair on her legs than I took off of her body. Now, if I hold her leg straight out like this, it's very comfortable for her, and I can come straight down the foot. I'm not really doing a true column leg. Her mother cannot handle a column leg, but I can do something incredibly similar and make it look good and make it happen really fast using my snap-ons and my vacuum. Okay, I have to grab that foam. I'm cut above. May I help you? Yes, it is. Yes, sir. I'm hanging in there. How are y'all doing? Oh, I did not know that. I'm sorry. I knew he was very ill. I did not realize he had passed away. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. There you go. Okay, well, we can definitely do that. And again, I am so sorry. Yes, tell your mom that we are incredibly sorry for her loss, and I wish there was something we could do. Well, yes, sir, and I will see you on Friday. That would be perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye. And that's rather upsetting. That's a client that I've groomed for a very long time. His father passed away this morning. I've groomed for him for a very long time. I hate to hear that happen. Very much ruins my whole day. But anyway, back to Mimi. Okay. I don't know if you could see what I was doing on the front legs as I came along, but I'm going to take this comb now and come underneath her line, underneath her body, and I go backwards there. It's just a smoother way of doing it. And then when I get to the legs, I am literally coming straight down the leg towards the toes, completely off the leg, just like this. Just straight down. And I am sort of drawing my parallel lines. I'm not relying on the dog's structure to do it. I'm literally drawing them with my clipper. And there we go. And because I'm coming straight off the foot like this, it's going to help me get my foot rounded better. If you leave too much hair there is when you end up with a problem, with what we call bedroom slipper feet. But again, I'm coming straight down off the foot and the leg, straight down. There's a couple of dips in her body, and I didn't follow the dips. I followed my straight lines that I want to follow. The VAC system helps with that a lot. So, and then in front there to blend it, I'm going to come up again and backwards there. I don't do a lot of backwards clipping all over dogs, but I will do it for blending purposes, and it makes it a lot faster. So we have the body lines set the way that I want them. See a few spots there I don't like. So we'll go backwards with the A, because remember we did the peach comb, and going backwards you use two sizes up. We'll give you the same length. Now, when we get into the crest area, a lot of people do that with scissors. There is a way to do it with a snap-on comb, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Or at least I'm going to attempt to show you how I do that. Go this way. Alright, baby girl. Oh, we missed a leg. I'll go back and get that in a minute. But if you hold the head straight down like this, you have a straight line. Come up into the back of the head with your snap-on comb. And again, I'm 2 lengths longer, so it's the same length as it would be if I went straight. And I'm going to come up into the back of the head, skimming. See, I just drew my straight line. And when she lifts up, look at that. You have a really nice arch there. From straight up. And then I flare out when I get to the ears. But I'm essentially drawing a straight line. And there you go, there's your crest. How easy is that? Now let's get this back leg before we forget it. If you wanted to do true column legs, it would be easier to scissor. But since I'm not doing true column legs and I don't have time to scissor, we're going to do it this way instead. And again, remember, hold the dog so that they're comfortable. And for her, supporting that knee and kind of cocking it out to the side works great for that. You don't want to jack that leg out too far, and yet if you try to do it with it being too low or too straight, then you're going to have a problem as well. So I am literally just sort of where the body bends, going out to the side and forward. Now, she is having a problem with a little oil gland at the back of her tail, which I can never remember what it's called. So her mother wants me to shave that spot so she can get the acne pads down in there. We'll do that later off camera, but she is having a problem right there. Now, It's not going to take me long to come back and scissor this because there's not that much out of line. That's the one reason why I love using my vac system. You end up with a really smooth cut with a lot less to actually come back and finish. Now if I recomb it like I just did, you come back and get what you missed. Then all you have to do is scissor the rest. So, turn off my vacuum, grab the shears that I want. Now, when I do feet, same thing as a Schnauzer. I'm going to scissor straight up into my leg, just like that. And on the outside as well, straight lines up and in. Scissor the top of that foot to smooth it. And then I'm going to comb the hair down to either side. Round it off. Easy, fast and easy. Do the same thing over here. Now I am not saying this is a real Bichon trim. I am saying this is a pet style that we put on a dog in the salon. It is a modified Bichon trim. We modify it for length and for speed because there's no way in heck I could scissor this whole dog and get her done on time. Snap-on combs are fantastic tools when used properly. They save you a lot of time and energy, get you a lot more work done quickly. And yes, that is my Utsumi Half Moon comb. I love it. I think it's worth every penny. I would be lost without it. I did a Pomeranian earlier today that without that I would have literally been picking mats out by hand because nothing else I have would have touched it. And that comb went right through that undercoat and pulled it all out with no problem. She could be a little straighter in certain areas, like around her feet and all of that from the drying, but she hates the dryer. So we're doing good to get her done at all. She's always hated the dryer. I've done her since birth and she's always hated the dryer. Now, I don't want to get too far up into the head just yet because we're still finishing up the body. Stand up for me. Stand up. Good girl. Some people will tell you not to do what I just did, which is just scissor sideways. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It's going to really depend upon the dog and where I'm trying to scissor. Scissoring straight up and down does give you a little bit of a better finish, I think. But there are going to be times when you're going to need to scissor side to side. Now, she doesn't get a whole lot of rear angulation, but I am going to give her a little bit. Again, she's old and she's kind of funky to work on. Move your tail. Right through here, I scooped out with my snap-on comb while I had the vac on. And when you do, you scoop out towards the hock. And that's just going to set you a little bit of angulation. It's not much, but it's a little bit. She can't handle much because her mother doesn't know how to comb her. She does a decent job of brushing, but she doesn't comb. And then, because of all of the hair on the table, it's hard to see. I missed that last time. I don't know if you can see it. There's a huge wad of hair right there that I missed last time. We're going to get that right now because I'm sort of embarrassed by that, but it happens to all of us. I cannot do front feet, or back feet rather, on the table. I have to lift them up to do them. And again, remember I am bending at the knee and the hip. I'm not hyperextending. She is literally, it's hard to see for the way I've got her, but she's literally as if she was standing and I just picked the foot up off the table. Okay? It's just Brian, he's back. Then we'll fluff it just a smidge. I don't do a lot of back combing. There's no reason to with the snap-ons in the back. We need to add Callie Shiver for Friday, please, sir. Tommy died this morning. So they're coming down for the funeral. Now, as you can see, there's a little more scissoring to do on this leg than on the other, but not a whole ton. In fact, even though the back is not on, just going to run down it again. Sometimes you'll find, if you're in a rush, which I may have been, or if you're on the phone like I probably was, that you may miss something. So there we go. Didn't miss much, but a little bit. Me. Baby, that way. Thank you. And then we're going to scissor feet again. And I'm using the wrong size shear for feet simply because I don't want to have to walk around the table to get another pair. I've got my table at a weird angle right now, and my equipment's not necessarily convenient. But there we go. We got the feet rounded off. Put your foot down. She has fleas, by the way. I've pulled 2 off of her, so we need to let Sheila know that. She said she was scratching and the vet couldn't find a reason. I mean, they're dead, so she's on flea meds, but quite obviously that just means they have them in their yard or something. And that would explain a lot. Now I have to take her out shorter here than I would normally do because she mats up under here. So if they're matting up under there, you definitely want to take out that hair. Goodness, Cricket, was there a bone in that? She had a little bit of water and she's coughing everywhere. Now, we have that done. We're going to work on the head just a little bit. Now, this is not my strongest groom. Don't think it's very many people's strongest grooms. So it's one reason why I wanted to show you some tricks on how to make it work really well and how to make it work really fast. Up through here, where we're setting in the crest, you'll see there's hair here. I didn't want to take that out with the vac because I would have not as much control. So I'm going to blend the crest now into the shorter hair where I trimmed. And she's always been weird about being moved on the table. If you could groom her without moving her, she'd be just fine. But again, right through here, I'm just going to blend it in and then come down into my head, which I've got to step around and get another pair of scissors to do. But we now have, that's how simple the crest can be to set. I mean, you saw me, we held the neck down, we came forward across, and if you wanted to do it with scissors instead of with a vac or in a snap-on, you can. You just hold the head down and come straight across, just like that. And that'll help you blend it in, and then you just blend in on the sides. It's not as hard as people think it is to set a crest, and it doesn't have to be 6 inches of hair. It can literally be what she has, which is about 2 inches at the longest. It's just about that much hair. So and that's coming up into the head. But that's how simple that is to set. Ears are tricky for everybody that I know, and it's hard to make them disappear into the head, but we're gonna try. Mimi. Mimi, stop. I know, I love you too. Stop. Turn around this way. Turn around. All right, we're gonna, first of all, remember it's modified. This is not a show trim. I'm just gonna scissor over her eyes some to get her eyes open a little bit where we can see. And then right underneath them, I'm using this pair of scissors for right now. I will go back with a pair of thinners. She's not gonna get that real heavy, angry ledge that Bichon's got because her mother can't stand it, for starters, and for seconds, she's a pet. But if you watch, we're just literally going to go around her head and round it off. Some people pick up the ears and take out a little bit of hair underneath, and on some dogs you may have to. I do not have to on her. But this has taken a long time to get to this point with her head. And I can still mess it up in a heartbeat. And I am literally going all the way around her head when I scissor, one fell swoop. The reason for that is you want a continual line, and for me it's easier that way. Some people can do half of the head and then go back into the other side. I find it easier to do the whole head at one time. Just like that. Stop. And whatever you take off the body is how much you take off the head to ensure that it looks the same as what it did the last time you did the dog. Now if they come in and say I want the head shorter, then of course you're going to take a little more hair off than you did last time. But generally speaking, whatever amount of hair you take off the body, you take the same amount off the legs and you take the same amount off the head. And that will give you the same groom every single time. Stop. Stop. She doesn't like her face held, and you have to hold on to it in order to get it groomed. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here, where I'm going to cut my shape in, and then I'm going to come up and over. All the way around, just for a continual line and a continual shape. I'm going to come back in with some smaller scissors in a minute and open up her eyes a little bit more. Baby girl, you're facing the wrong direction. Come on now. Let's try that. Stop. Now heads I do comb several times through to make sure that they are what I want. And she is not getting a basketball round head. I, number one, don't like the look. Number two, she doesn't have the body style for it, in my opinion. We are going to do a flatter chin across and then come up into the ears, just like we did earlier, but I'm just going to show you a little bit easier on this angle. These are my straights because I like a straight line here. It's more of a, I don't want to use the term bell shape because it's not a bell shape, but it's not a round basketball head either. I cannot achieve a round basketball head to save my life, so we do what we can. Stop. Stop. Thank you. Now, I'm going to round it up through here. I wanted my flat plane, and then I'm going to round from the flat up and in. Just like that. Don't lick. You'll notice I have my finger in front of her mouth. It's because she likes to lick, and I can't have her licking the scissors. That would be really, really, really bad. And yes, I'm standing on my tiptoes. She has a hole in the back of her head where she has been scratching and where I pulled a lot of hair out. So there's a hole right there that we can't really fix because there's no hair. but we can blend it a little bit better. And I'm going to pull out my chunkers in just a minute and do the blending. Stop. But there you go. Make sense? You just forget that there are even ears there and just pretend it's all one big piece. And once you've done that, it's really not that hard to do. You have to get it to that point that you can do that, however. And now from the side, that's what it looks like. Now, thinning shears. Not this pair. Why do you follow me everywhere I go like that? Don't do that. Take these right in here and clear out some of that hair, just because it's really aggravating her and me. Right around the lip line as well, where it likes to get up in her mouth. We want to get all of that out. And then right over her eyes, I'm going to use the thinning shears just to blend it back a little bit better and smooth it out. I can use chunkers. I prefer blenders right in there. It just gives me a better finish right through there. And like I said, not a show trim, not trying to show you how to groom a show dog by any means, trying to show you some shortcuts and some stuff you can use on your salon. I'll take the blenders now and just blend her body a smidge all over to soften the look. It will remove any scissor lines, pick up any hair that I may have missed, especially if you use it the way I'm using it right now. It's kind of like a comb. I've got my blades pointing down and the solid blade on the bottom. That gives you a different texture because it catches the hair as you go. It acts like a comb that way. And notice I'm pulling as I go. That's going to help soften as well. I'm not using them straight like this. I am literally pulling to the side as I go. That gives me just a slightly better finish, and it allows the comb part of the scissor to work as a comb. Come on, stand up for me. Thank you. See right through there. Like I said, she doesn't like the dryer on her head. It makes it a little hard to get it perfectly straight, so there's some kink back here, which makes it harder to groom, but it's not that bad. And she's not going into the Westminster show ring by any means. It's not something her mother is going to notice, it's something you and I will notice. Now, as you can see, oh, except that you can't. What happened? Oh my. Mimi, you're all over the place. Stop. Well, that's a little better. I don't know how long it's been that way. But anyway, you get the idea. Didn't take that long to do. I do have to go back and do some finish work, but I'm going to have to stack her and put her in a loop to do it. But it's really an easy, fast groom. Took less than 30 minutes to do, and I've been talking to you and talking on the phone too. So really not that bad. I'll take about 5 more minutes and go over her with a pair of chunkers just to smooth her out a little bit more. And she's done. Not too shabby. Faster's better sometimes.